Hello everyone. This is Joanna. In today's lesson, let's make an overview of the free mock exams for the Basic Certificate I1. Regulatory timeframes and approvals. Application and authorization decisions. CySEC's decision-making timeframes for applications and approvals, such as granting CIF licenses, UCITS registrations, and changes in ownership. Revocation and lapse of licenses. Scenarios and timeframes for license revocation, such as inactivity, 6 months, or obligations to settle within specific periods, e.g., 1 month, 3 months, etc. Response timeframes. Deadlines for CySEC to respond to applications, e.g., 2 to 6 months for UCITS, AIFs. 2. Compliance and risk management. Compliance officer responsibilities. Preparation of reports, e.g., annual compliance reports. Training and monitoring staff competence on AML, internal procedures, and regulatory requirements. Ensuring risk-based approaches to compliance monitoring. Risk-based approach, RBA. Differentiating risks by customer type, financial product, country, and transaction type. Compliance monitoring based on client risk profiles. AML/CTF, anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing. Enhanced and simplified due diligence requirements, including examples of high-risk clients, e.g., bearer shares, third-country financial institutions. Suspicious transaction indicators and reporting to the appropriate authorities, MOCRs, CySEC. 3. Investment services and suitability. Suitability and appropriateness testing. CIFs must assess client knowledge, risk tolerance, and financial situation before providing investment services. Special cases like joint accounts, high-risk products, or automated systems, e.g., portfolio management via copy trading. Periodic updates of suitability information based on client profiles. Independent investment advice. Requirements for firms offering independent advice to consider a wide and representative range of financial instruments. Disclosure of potential conflicts of interest. 4. Financial instruments and trading rules. OTC derivatives and risk management. Counterparty credit risk and criteria for collateral in OTC transactions. Maximum exposure limits to counterparties, e.g., 10% for UCITS. Systematic internalizers, SI. Obligations to disclose quotes based on liquidity conditions and client requests. Pre-trade and post-trade transparency rules under MiFID. Market manipulation and insider trading. Definitions and examples of market abuse, layering, spoofing, quote stuffing, and insider dealing. Obligations for timely disclosure of inside information and exceptions for delayed disclosure. 5. AIFs and UCITS. Management and reporting. Required capital levels for internally and externally managed AIFs, e.g., €125,000 to €500,000 depending on portfolio size. Liquidity management systems for leveraged and unleveraged AIFs. Valuation and NAV frequency, e.g., monthly to quarterly. Feeder and master UCITS. Relationships between master UCITS and their feeders, including fee structures and reporting obligations. Minimum feeder requirements for master UCITS to raise funds from the public. 6. CIF and firm operations. Governance and directorship. Minimum number of directors required for CIFs, e.g., 2 directors if they hold client money. Rules on combining executive and non-executive directorships. Internal procedures. Policies for client classification, handling suspicious transactions, and customer acceptance. Business continuity planning, BCP, requirements for disaster recovery. Outsourcing. Requirements for outsourcing agreements, including retaining oversight and ensuring risk management. 7. Reporting and record keeping. Transaction reporting. Timeframes for reporting trades, e.g., same day or T+1. Obligations for reporting to trade repositories and regulatory authorities, e.g., CySEC, ESMA. Record retention. Minimum record-keeping periods, e.g., 5 years for CIFs, 7 years for AIFMs. Requirements for electronic and hard copy backups. 8. Investor protection and compensation. Investor Compensation Fund, ICF. Maximum compensation limits, e.g., €20,000 or 90%, whichever is smaller. Requirements for public announcements during ICF activation. Client money rules. Segregation of client funds and restrictions on usage, e.g., inactive accounts after 7 years. 9. EU regulations and cross-border operations. MiFID II and MiFIR compliance. Transparency and market integrity rules for systematic internalizers and trading venues. Waivers and caps for pre-trade transparency based on trading volumes. Cross-border notifications. Requirements for foreign firms to notify CySEC or ESMA when operating in Cyprus. Information sharing agreements between CySEC and other competent authorities. 10. Penalties and enforcement. Fines and sanctions. Penalties for non-compliance with AML laws, misleading information, or failure to maintain insider lists, e.g., up to €1 million. Suspension of waivers for exceeding volume caps in pre-trade transparency. Enforcement actions. CySEC's authority to revoke licenses, impose fines, or publish warnings for regulatory breaches. Key features of the mock exam. Question format. Multiple choice questions, MCQs, with 4 options, covering theoretical and practical scenarios. Realistic, exam-style questions designed to test knowledge of CySEC laws, EU regulations, and industry practices. Topic coverage. Comprehensive coverage of CySEC's basic certificate syllabus, including AML, AIFM, UCITS, MiFID, and compliance functions. Difficulty level. Questions range from basic definitions, e.g., insider trading criteria, to complex scenarios, e.g., suitability tests for joint accounts or outsourcing requirements. Conclusion. This mock exam serves as an excellent resource for candidates preparing for the basic CySEC certificate. It provides a detailed and practical understanding of CySEC regulations, compliance practices, and the legal framework governing financial services in Cyprus. The wide variety of questions ensures candidates are well prepared to address both theoretical knowledge and practical applications in the exam. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to our lovely academists for much more.